Hey guys, Ms. Warren here. I just wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about printmaking. It's the unit we're going to be starting on. So let me go ahead and share my screen real quick so we can start looking at what printmaking is and what some examples are. Okay, so this site's kind of cool. It's the Met, which is a very famous art museum and gallery. And they have a pretty extensive website, and I found this article on there. So it asks, what is printmaking? Now, to summarize what you have here, so it's printmaking is an artistic process based on the principle of transferring images from one matrix to another surface, most often paper or fabric. So essentially, you're creating one item in order to print another image. It's kind of like making a stamp would be the easiest way to kind of think about it. Now, there's several different ways to make a stamp to transfer an image. These 5 are the most common, and we're gonna look at examples of each. We're gonna look at the processes, and then we're gonna look at some famous examples of each. So woodcut, these are like the materials that are normally used by professionals. You have a wood block, you have a brayer, that's what those little rollers are called. You have some ink, and you have some carving tools. This is the oldest one. So you could start with a picture. You transfer the picture to your template. You carve out your template. And that's what makes the stamp. In our case, tomorrow we're going to be doing an additive process. That means we're going to glue stuff to a surface in order to make our stamp. Most of these that we're looking at today are subtractive. That means they take something away in order to make the stamp. And then they would roll it with ink. And then they would put it through something that would put pressure on it in order to stamp it onto some paper. So there you have the block or the stamp and the finished products. Okay, so we're going to go back and we're going to look at a few different methods. There's different ways to do that. Etching and engraving are normally done with metal plates. Let's see. So you have a metal plate here, and you carve into a copper or metal plate, much like the other one. You rub ink into the surface, and then you wipe off the extra. And yet again, you would press it through something. Now we're going to be going very low tech with our technique, but I wanted to show y'all how professionals do it because this requires a lot of equipment. So the next one, etching, is very similar to engraving, only it's done with chemicals instead of carving. So yet again, you get a copper plate, and you prepare the surface. You scratch off the areas that you want to get eroded away. So that's like a protector on the surface. And then you scratch off the areas that you want cracks in. Then you dip it into chemicals that eats away a little bit of the metal where you scratched off. And you wipe it away clean and stop the chemical process. Then you put the ink on, rub it in, wipe off the extra. Then you roll it through a printing press. And then there would be the finished product for that one. So most of these are subtractive. The ones we've looked at so far are, here we'll look at another one that's subtractive, one more. And then we'll look at one that's additive. So this one, it was very common to make posters and advertisements in the 18 and early 1900s. You start with a big stone block. Let's see if it will load for us. There we go. And you put wax on it. So the parts that are you put wax on won't get eroded away by the chemicals. Just put wax on the parts you want to keep. Then you put a series of chemicals and other things on top of it and kind of wear the stone down, except for where it had the wax resist on it. You rub the ink into the surface, just like the other ones. Make sure it's nice and clean. the paper on it, put pressure on it, and you come out with a print. So all of these processes that we've looked at so far have been subtractive. That means you take away something from the surface of the stamp in order to stamp it. Like whether it's carving or eroding it through chemical processes, those are the processes there. Now, the last one is additive, which is closer to what we're doing. You're going to add something to the surface in order for it to print. So this is screen printing. Now, we're not going to be doing screen printing. We're going to be doing a different process, but it's just kind of cool to see. You have a screen and some squeegees to press the ink through. Very fine mesh screen. This person printed out images that she's going to project into the screen. So she put something that would, it's a photo emulsifier. It gets hard when you put light on it. So she put that layer on there. And then she put her designs on there. And then she puts it in a light box. That box shines really bright light on the green stuff, and it makes the green stuff stick wherever the light touches. Now, because she put stuff on there, it blocked out the light in some spots, so she can spray it off there. Now, if you're doing screen printing, you don't have to use this photo emulsifier stuff. You can also use wax to block out the parts of the screen to make the stamp. You could use different like painting techniques. But this is the most common, just to project it into there. Then you put ink on there, then you squish the ink through onto the paper, and it creates a stamp. So that's screen printing. Oftentimes that's how t-shirts are made, like what's on your t-shirt. Okay, so let me go ahead and go back. So now that we have a kind of an idea of what screen printing is, I'm going to show y'all some famous screen prints, and I'll also show you some screen prints that I've done personally here. So let me go ahead and grab them. It's on the wall behind me all the time if I'm making videos at my house. So this one is something that I made in college. This one's a screen print, and I blocked out the different parts of the screen with crayon. I used a hairdryer to melt the crayon into the screen, and each different color is a different layer in the screen print. So, and I started with the lightest colors, like the lightest shade of skin, and then I did the shadows, and then I did the deeper shadows and the deeper shadows. This one's based on 2 different paintings pushed together. That was the assignment. We had to pick 2 paintings and kind of mix them together for the screen print. So that's something that I did in college. Now I'm going to show y'all some famous examples of some of my favorite artists. So this is Alphonse Mooca. He did a lot of advertising and posters. This is an advertisement for a bicycle. It was made in the 1800s in France, and he used the process with the stone that you put the chemicals on and wipe away and make a stamp out of the stone, and each different color is a different stamp. So he's one of my favorite. So now let me go to the next one. This one is Hokusai. You've seen, if you've been watching my videos, you've seen me talk about the Great Wave. This is another one of his prints. He carved into a block, and each color is a different block. So you kind of just layer up the stamps to get the picture you want. Let me share the screen. This one's a very old one from the Renaissance, from Albrecht Dürer. I lived a really long time ago. This one is I can't remember if it's etching or engraving, but it was made with a metal plate, and it's called Melancholia. And look at all those little specks and detail he got on that metal plate. It's really impressive. The wrinkles in the outfit, the darks and lights, he did by scratching away at a metal plate and using chemicals to process. Now we have a modern artist, a screen printer, Shepard Fairey. So he did the screen process, and each color is a different screen that he like squished the ink through. He makes a lot of, he's still alive today, and his artwork makes a lot of political commentary. And sometimes he uses other people's images and kind of remixes them and puts different layers on there. Now, because he borrows images, sometimes he gets in trouble for copyright infringement. But his artwork has always been very interesting. He, if you've seen, it was a really long time ago for y'all guys, but if you've seen the Obama Hope poster, he was the one that did the Obama Hope poster. Okay, now that y'all have an idea of the history of printmaking, we're going to be making our own print by designing and then cutting out some fun foam, and we're going to be Mod Podging or gluing it to some cardboard to create our own stamp and our own print. Now, I look forward to seeing y'all's work, and I hope y'all learned something today. Bye, guys.